Before we talk about writing, before we talk about publishing, before we talk about all of these things that come together that work towards publication, let's first talk about permission. Because most writers don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they're waiting. Most writers fail because they're waiting for this sense of confidence to fall out of the air. They're waiting for the right time, or maybe they're waiting for approval. But here's the truth: your first draft is not supposed to be good, it's simply supposed to exist. Perfection has buried more books than rejection ever could. And if you're waiting for inspiration, you're waiting for courage. And courage doesn't come first. It shows up after you start, after you get the ball rolling. No one is coming to crown you a writer. The moment you decide to tell the truth on the page, you already are one. But know that an unfinished story is a voice left unheard. Finish the book, give it legs, let it live and let it fly. Your voice isn't missing, it's just been buried under comparison. So stop trying to sound like everyone else. The world doesn't need another copy, it needs you. Editing will humble you. Good. That's where a real book is born. But rejection means that you're in the arena. Silence is the true danger. Publishing isn't validation, it's visibility. Your worth was never, ever up for debate. I know what it's like to carry a story for years, unfinished, untold, unheard, just waiting. I also know what it takes to finally release it into the world. In this workshop and during our time together in this moment, I'll share the 10 most powerful tips that I believe new writers should know to transform their ideas into self-published books and purpose into impact. So if you're tired of circling the runway and you're ready to soar, you're ready to take off, I encourage you to buckle up and let's enjoy this journey together. Inspire the masses. Welcome. All right, so let's get this party started. I wanted to take this time to get into the 10 most powerful things that I believe every new writer should know. Now, this is in no particular order, but I think these things are equally important when you put them together and you begin to build the house and you get ready and as you prepare for the journey. It's not an overnight journey, it's a long haul. But hopefully, these tips are something that you can weave and intertwine within your inspiration to find your greatest form of success. So, kicking off, I want you to know that the first draft is not meant to impress, it's meant to exist. I meet so many people. They find so many reasons to not share what they have to offer to the world. I have people who have told me that they sit on ideas for years. They don't share with family, they don't share with friends. And for many people, they don't even start. For some people, they keep these ideas in their minds and they tell me about all these exciting characters and the development and the plot twist. And I'm like, whoa, have you written anything down? Have you taken the time to find that moment between your pen and pad or your fingertips and your keyboard? That's where the draft begins. We can graph and plan out our thinking all we want, but until we complete that first draft, we have nothing. Nothing but thoughts and wants. But it is the inaction that stops so many new and blossoming writers. So please create something, put it out into the world. Do not hold in. Your job is not to be brilliant on page one. Your job is to begin. A rough draft is proof of courage, not competence. All right, cool. So, another one of the top 10 tips that I want to share with new powerful writers is that waiting for inspiration is a quiet form of fear. Let me say that one more time. Waiting for inspiration is a quiet form of fear. Writers don't wait till when they feel ready. They show up anyway. Momentum builds when you begin the process. You must understand that you're never going to be ready. You're never going to be at a place where you're like, all right, I'm my best. These are the best things that I can think of in this moment, and it's ready for the world. When you begin the writing process, you just let your ideas flow. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like after you finish every line, you have to go back and read the line and add a transition or open your thesaurus to think of and find better words. That's not what this is about. Initially, it's about getting the words on the page. That's what makes the most sense with beginning in mind. Yo, no one's coming to crown you a writer. Like, no one's going to knock on your door. No one's going to send you a telegram, a direct message, a text message, whether blue or green. No one's going to do that. No one's going to nudge you and say, you've arrived. There are no permission slips. There are no name badges that say, I am now a writer. You are a writer when you choose to put your truths on the page. That's when you become the writer that you see in your mind. Don't wait. Don't feel like I have to be summoned, or I have this badge of honor that tells me that I am able and in the position to finally share my voice. Because that was me. That was me. In this place of the unknown, the uncertainty, refreshing my emails, waiting for the acknowledgement of my worth, waiting for someone to tell me just how good or how okay I think my writing is. Nah, we're going to do it our own way. An unfinished story is a voice unheard. Yes, that is one of my next tips. An unfinished story is a voice unheard. No one wants to be muzzled. No one wants to be silenced. No one wants their ideas censored or suppressed. We must be able to speak freely, to write freely, to think freely. We must be able to differentiate between fact and fiction, information and misinformation, yet we must be a willing participant in the inspiration that we have to offer. I remember I remember people. I see people repeatedly. I go to the same events when they're, of course, when they're worthwhile, when they're easy to get to, when my capacity allows. I go to these places in Miami and far beyond, and I see some of the same people. And you know what I say to them? You know what I say to them? They say, do you remember me, Dr. Woodward? Do you remember me? I'll be like, absolutely. Have you started? Have you written anything down? Have you completed what you started? Let's cut the small talk. Let's take the emotions out of it. Let's take the let's get straight to it. The action. Have you completed at least a milestone within the journey? Do not let your voice remain unheard. Don't do it. It's terrifying. Oh, it is. It's terrifying to know that critique and criticism and everybody has feedback and everybody has something to say, good, bad, or in between. But know that you must remain focused. You must remain steadfast. You must allow your voice to be heard, to speak up for what's right, for that reader who feels as though that no one listens to them, no one hears them, no one knows how they truly feel. There's so many children and adults who we walk past each and every day who feel alone, isolated, separated from their peers, their colleagues, their coworkers, their group project members. And that's where we come in as writers. That's where we come in because we can fill that void. We can have that intimate connection just for a moment where two strangers who know not from where they come from or who they are or how they feel in this moment, but know that there is a bond that is created with the words on the pages. Do not allow your voice to go unheard. Your voice isn't missing. It's not. It's simply buried. It's buried under imitation. Simply put. I feel like so many of us take so much time listening and taking in what the world has to offer, which is a beautiful thing. But many of us mimic what it is that we see, and we say, well, because they did it this way, then I have to do it that way as well. Because tradition teaches us that if that way worked and I implement it on my end, it'll work for me. And that's nice to an extent. But where does your rarity come into play? Where's your sense of uniqueness, your style? Where's your signature lasting impression that you'd like to leave with readers? When people close my books, whether they're taking a break, whether they have completed the journey, whether they have shared the journey with someone else, what gets me so excited and so fulfilled within this work is to know that I spoke to them, to have had the privilege to share a moment with someone through my writing. And whether it was implicit through the illustrations or the Easter eggs that I put in, or whether it was direct, whether it was a punchline, whether it was the final line of the book, as long as it tugged at their heart and created a moment with someone else as they both advance and who they are becoming, whether it's a child and an adult, a child and a teacher. I believe there's always room for improvement. And the more that we work and read alongside one another, the more that we can find what's missing or what's buried underneath the many and the masses. Find your voice and share it with the world. Do not emulate what other people have to offer. Uh, um, I like syntax. I like looking at sentence structures, and I like how that author used that adverb, or I like how that description came into play and made me feel. That's fine. That's okay. But beyond that, make sure you take the time to allow your authenticity to show. Thy cup runneth over with who it is that you see when you close your eyes. But you must open them to write, and you must continue to write. Every joke may not be funny. Every plot may not twist, and that's okay because it's an investment, and you deposit with each cup of coffee, with each energy drink. I do not encourage them. Watch out for the sugar, but beyond whatever crutch or whatever vice we have to continue on, you find it so that your voice can spill onto the pages for those that await to hear exactly what you have to say. All right, everybody, just breathe, take it in. I understand it's a lot, and it can be a little jarring. It can it can be a little deafening. The noise, all of these ideas and think pieces, and all of these tips and tricks to become what you already know you are, and that's a phenomenal writer. That's someone who is relentless and unapologetic, remains steadfast in this fight. So let's take a breath. We're at the halfway point of my 10 most powerful tips for new and budding writers. Let's take a moment. Now let's hop back into it. All right. Is it settling in? Is it hitting you? Take a moment. Let's just take a breath. I don't want you to feel like you can watch this video over and over. You can find the certain things that make the most sense to you, but take a moment. You're gonna grow. As a budding writer, you must understand that there's always room for improvement. Everybody's always gonna have something to say. Some people are gonna like what you write, some people are gonna not find the joke funny, but it is up to you to remain in the know of your why. The more you know of why you do this work and why you commit yourself to this moment in your life that you will remember for the rest of it, the greater ease you'll find. The easier it will be to step aside from having a good time versus creating something that will last a lifetime. All right, that's enough of me on my spill. Now let's get back into it now. I want you to know editing is where ego dies and the book is born. Editing is where your ego dies and the book is born. It's tough because I know you love those words. I know you feel attached. You're emotionally invested in what you created, and you should be. You should be. But know that when it's time to let it go, only momentarily, when it's time to let it go to your editor and you give them that safe space to do their job, to do what you are paying for, you must be ready to let your pride aside. You must be ready to leave that at the door. It is imperative that the editor that you choose, this is a sidebar, it is imperative that the editor that you choose isn't your friend. They aren't your relative. They aren't someone that you confide in, that you feel as though they say things that make you feel good. Your editor needs to be cutthroat. They need to tell you what you do not want to hear. There's something I learned from one of my first editors. Me and her were going back and forth. We're just spending so much time. We're spending so much time trying to get to the meat and get to the root of how do we clean up this chapter. She said, "You know what, Mike? You need to learn to cut your darlings." And I said, "What does that mean?" She said, "You got to learn to cut your darlings. You've got to learn to take a step back sometimes and understand that your words hold even greater value the less you use them." And I was like, "Yo, you're not making any sense to me." And she was exactly right. Sometimes when we trim things down just enough, we leave those that we impress these ideas upon less room and less margin for error. We create a sense of exactness with our words. And that is what I believe the editor helps us do and helps me do. We're all ramblers. And you should be. You, as a writer, you better be. But you got to know. You have to know when your ego is blockading perfection. All right, so let's turn the dial up just for a moment, just a little bit, because some of these next tips, as we kind of make our way around the bend, I want you to understand that rejection is proof. Rejection is proof that you have stepped into the arena. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There are even more people who write things down and choose not to share them, not only with the world, but at least with an agent or with a publishing company to complete that inquiry letter. It's a lot. I've taken my fair share of shots, but with each no, I grow. With each no, I grow. I further understand that there is room for me to get better. I understand that quite possibly there is a way that I can manipulate my thinking, my thoughts, and my inspiration in a way where it's a little bit more tighter, it's a little bit more well received. But you know what's even worse than no? Nothing. You think being left on red socially hurts. Have you ever been left on red professionally? Emails that go unheard, voicemails that go unanswered. It's very heartbreaking. This is the game that we play as writers, especially when you've invested so much time, resources, moments away from your wife, your children, your family. But it's understanding that that no that you receive does not make or break you. It's not gonna put you in a place where I don't say it's not gonna alter your mood. It's not gonna ruin your day because it will. And it will hurt and it will sting for that moment because you may have thought you've given your best as a budding writer and someone thought otherwise. But you use that. You use that to re enter the arena. You use that to grow and you use that to go. You keep it going. You keep it moving. You keep that pen on the paper. You keep taking shots. Whether you have to go back into the lab and revise what it is that you have written or composed, or whether you just have to simply find someone else who is willing to invest in what you have to offer. But my biggest takeaway is rejection is the proof because silence is far, far more dangerous. My next tip is going to make some of y'all cringe, and that's okay. Because publication is not validation, it's visibility. Publication is not validation, it's visibility. It's tough. Oh, it's tough as a self published author without a machine behind you, but that's okay. We don't roam this world in search of excuses, especially when we have stories to tell. We don't allow our ideas to remain hidden in our minds, papers to collect dust, with no one peering through the words that we have composed. Publication is the end goal, but finding that publishing house to believe in you is not the validation to get you to the promised land. I believe. I think it makes life easier. I do. I've heard the stories. I've read, different people's successes and strengths and strategies. But what I believe, what's most important for a writer is to write, is to grow, is to evolve, and to share this with the world. So don't waste time thinking that, you know, um, your writing isn't good enough or that there are no readers who roam this world in search of the same thoughts, ideas, fears, energizers, or sense of inspiration that you have. My next tip is knowing that there is a reader waiting to read the exact story you have yet to write. They are there. That thought you have in your mind, that intuition to stop everything you're doing. I got to write this down. I guarantee you there's a reader out there who wants to read. Every product has a buyer. Like, I don't know. You think of, I don't know, there's so many different analogies. You think of all the fast food restaurants in our communities, especially in low income communities and food deserts. There are so many places selling burgers, fries, and slices of pizza on every corner, or fried chicken, or whatever. Who told them that there were other people also serving dinner and there's no space for them? Who told them that? No one. So why tell yourself because someone may be writing in the same style as you, or someone may be telling very similar stories to what you have to share with the world? Why should that restrict you from your advancement? Write that story. Put those words on the paper because someone wants to read it. My final tip out of the top 10, you will never feel ready. And that, my friends, is the sign. You will never know when it's time to take the leap. You will never you will never be presented with the opportunity of having the confidence and knowing that it is time, because the time starts when you position yourself, when you create the action, when you sit down and write. You're never going to feel ready. You're always going to feel like there's room for growth. At least you should. You're always going to feel like it's not good enough. It's not funny enough. It's not short enough. It's not long enough. It's not good enough. These are thoughts we all have. And I guarantee you, if you let these thoughts control you, if you let them guide your thoughts, they will be the cause of your demise. No one wants to live with regret. But I think what's hardest within this journey is the amount of people I've met with regret. The amount of people who told me I just wasn't ready. Who's to tell you you are and aren't ready? Whose job is that? That's your job. And I encourage you, as the phenomenal, show-stopping reader, blossoming, budding author and writer that you already are, or that you can see when you close your eyes, it's there waiting for you. I encourage you, do not withhold the world from your thoughts, from your inspiration, from where you see your readers being when they read your books, when they feel how you feel, when they are caught off guard and surprised by the secrets that you are knowingly withholding from them until the very end of the book. I wish you the best. I encourage you to never let fear stop you. Never be put in a position where you'll let someone else's approval or validation, you'll let someone else's reactions to your pride and your willingness to take the leap. Never let that restrict you. Wake up early, go to bed late, apologize for missing the party, but I guarantee you there'll be an even bigger party for when you accomplish this milestone, this moment in your life that will either cause you a lifetime of joy and fulfillment or a lifetime of regret if you don't. My name is Dr. Michael Woodward Jr. I'm a professor, an author, a scholar, and most importantly, a servant. And I believe in you. Get to writing, inspire the masses.